careers in IFRS, and we have people from industry champions and some overseas players. We have Purna to coordinate the whole session, coming from Sweden, and we have Sagar Vasa of Mahindras, Kinjal Shah of L&T, Gaurav Samota, all are toppers, and I welcome them. Purna, please take over.
Hi everyone, I'll be taking over from Bhavesh sir now. I'll be the one asking questions to our panelists. In short, I'll be the subtler form of Arnab Goswami today. So we have Sagar Vasa who will take over from now here. He'll talk about the career aspects of IFRS, and then we'll have Kinjal also talking on the same. We can hear them talk, and then I'll come over to Gaurav.
Yeah. Hello friends, my name is Sagar Vasa. I'm a chartered accountant and diploma in IFRS from ACCA. I've got trained from Ramohan Bhave sir. I'm also done certificate of valuation from ICAI. Currently working with Mahindra & Mahindra since 2012. Looking for consolidation of financials, and now in Ind AS conversions as well. I have implemented a Hyperion system for Mahindra for Ind AS conversions. Before I start with the presentation, I would like to say this. As you are all aware that in 1991, India has gone for a liberalization and globalization of our economy. So various barriers has been removed. Various international standards has came into place at that period of time. Industries has now competition from the global market. Same way this time as well. This is a period of time where the accounting globalization has happened, where all the international players, we can compare with the international players. We can now even finalize overseas accounts. We can even think we can parallelly compare our financials with the overseas players, global companies. So this, all in all, there are a lot of changes which is going on happening in our accounting and finance professions. If I would like to say, there are other changes other than IFRS which is also going to happen in, like GST, which is coming, Companies Act 2013, which is also came into this place. Internal control financial reporting, which is coming into place. So income tax disclosure and competition standards. So all in all, if I would like to say, there are a lot of changes which is happening in the current scenarios. So it's like it was not happened earlier in past that complete standard has changed, and this is the period of time where we are the professionals or accounting, where the industries would be looking for us to guide them, to help them in implementation, to give them an ideas what are the options available with them, what can be done in this scenario. So before we go to the actual career opportunity, let me again go back to how the implementation are going to be, how the Ind AS are been going to be implemented in India. There are particular reason why I'm going to share this slide again. Next. So if you can see this, India is, as sir has rightly said, India is not adopting the IFRS, it is converging IFRS. So what do we mean by this? There are certain carve-in and carve-outs which has been adopted by Indian industries, Indian regulators, that it will not be exactly in the same manner, but there are certain deviations from it. And India is not going to implement the IFRS in one go. There are various phases which are going to be used, and this is only for the purpose of effective implementation of by the various industries. If I say phase 1 is the 2016-17, where the entire financials would be in the Ind AS. Since the comparative figure has to be given, the first financial will be 16-17, and the comparative period will be 15 and 16. So the transition date, that is an opening balance sheet date, would be the 1st April 2015. All listed entities and the entities which is in potential of listing, in a process of listing, with having a net worth of 500 crores, unlisted entities having a net worth of 500 crores. And as it says that Ind AS or IFRS, by that mean, gives more importance to the consolidated financial statement. So their holding, subsidiaries, joint venture, and associate of above eligible companies will also be covered by this Ind AS. The phase 2 with the all listed companies with even less than 500 crores, unlisted companies having a net worth of 250 crores or more, and then holding subsidiary companies. However, the phase 1 and phase 2 will never don't cover this banking and insurance companies. The main reason behind it is that they have different regulators altogether. So in the phase 3, that is 2018 and 19, that is the year from where all the banking and insurance company has to have their financial in the days. NBFCs having a net worth of more than 500 crores, whether listed or unlisted, having a net worth of 500 crores are also covered in the phase 3. And whereas when it comes to phase 4, all listed NBFCs are in a process of listing NBFCs, even though having a less than 500 crores. Unlisted entities, unlisted NBFCs with the net worth less than 250 crores are covered by this. Now, the one of the main reason I am reiterating this phase is, as even though the sir has clarified it, the reason if you can see this, from the 1st April 2015 to 2020 is an implementation period of Ind AS for all of India. Let me again say this is just an implementation phase, and as it said, any change will bring you an opportunity to you. The same way, this is an opportunity which lies on you, and this opportunity is not only for the 1 year, it is from whole 5 to 6 years you have been given an opportunity to grab it. So from 2015 to 2020, there will be altogether a new financial. You will see if you are studying your any listed company's annual account, and if you see that their annual account is of for annual report is of 30 pages or 50 pages, they're altogether going to be a different scenarios. Now all will be multiplied by 10 folds. So the whole lot of disclosures requirement are altogether different. So in and all, there are a lot of changes going on in our industries. And if you want to grab this opportunity, just learn the Ind AS, start applying for it, and start guiding our industries and societies for this. So after this background, let me go to the next slide. That is, what are the exact career opportunities which is lying before us? So main is the guiding and implementation partner. As I have shared earlier to you, that this is a 5 to 6 years time period for an Indian industries to convert from Indian current gap, Indian standards to an Ind AS. So this is the time period for us to guide the management, because there are a lot of options, a lot of exemptions, a lot of exceptions which are available, and management doesn't want any surprise at the end of period of time, because if you selected a property plant and equipment as in previous year, previous year figures, there are other options like you can follow on a fair valuation as well, and all the implications of the same is different. So you might guide the management. If you opt for this option, you would have this disclosure requirement. If you opt for a particular option, then you may have to so these are so you may effectively guide the management so that they can take up to particular options and they can go for it, and they can even in the implementation period, over the period of time, what disclosure they have to make if they choose a particular options. Second is the system implementation. So what are the options which is there in the since the as I said in the Ind AS is more toward a consolidation, and as more than the big conglomerates and already would be having an SAP or maybe a Hyperion Oracle products, but that is not sufficient for them to capture the informations. There would be a need for them to make a lot of changes into the rules which is there in the systems. There are disclosures requirement which is applicable to consolidation. It is not even applicable to the standalone, but maybe applicable to group as a whole. The reconciliation requirement for a net worth as for a group, reconciliation requirement for the deferred tax rate. There is also a need for various disclosure on financial risk management, market risk management, liquidity risk management, and all is needed not for even for a standalone, but it is also needed for the group companies. And this cannot be handled just by Excel or by file or other system. You may have to implement this into the system. You may have to modify your system to enable this from the various group companies. And let me tell you frankly, if you know the Ind AS, if you have idea of IGAF, and you know the system how to implement it, it is a right period of time for you to get into the business, because it is like freelancing and all. There are a lot of opportunities currently going on this area. Who knows the system implementation on this Ind AS? There are auditing staff where auditing firms which is looking for an opportunity, because the current staff is not sufficient for them to look for the auditing all this entire financials. Their current staff is need to be retrained for the Ind AS and IFRS as well as they have to plan their audit, very pre-plan their audit, because it is not same like just a ticking or just a disclosure, small disclosure. There are a whole lot of memo changes which is going to happen in the financial statement. And for all this, their auditing staff, their auditing managers, their partners, all needs to be trained. They all needs to go through the various contracts, because each contract has a different implication in Ind AS. So all in all, there will be various openings which goes into which will be there in the auditing and consultancies. And then one of the most interesting area which is coming, the role of accountant earlier was shown as like we have to report the businesses. It was never been taken that we have been effectively participating into the business dealings and that. But the scenarios with the Ind AS scenarios is completely changing, and this is the practical experience which I have also has been faced. That earlier, what happens when the business has done, then only we reported. But since the putting a certain clause into the contracts, or maybe giving a take or pay arrangement contract, or giving a small call or put option, may change the scenario altogether. It may become a subsidiary or may become a joint venture from a subsidiary. So management doesn't want anything like which is coming at the end while reporting that this become a subsidiary of your companies. So what happens at any time any new business or new acquisitions, accountant, even the controllers will be taken together to know what are the implications will come into the financials. So this is like level playing with the business people before signing a document or before going for an actual implementation of a particular deal or this. So this is one of the areas which will coming up for on account of an Ind AS. There are another areas where you can look out for is a valuation industry. As sir has rightly said that the Ind AS is more toward a fair valuation, historical cost. There are just not it's like business combination. You do not have a choice, but you have to account it as a fair value. There are ESOPs where the ESOP where Indian current standard has given an option of intrinsic value or a fair value. However, however in the Ind AS or in IFRS, it has to be accounted as a fair value. There are altogether a different standard on fair valuation, Ind AS 113, which talk about the disclosure requirement for the Ind AS. So simultaneously with increase in the Ind AS requirements, there is also going to be increase in the valuation industries. And let me tell you this, there are very few experts in the valuation industries. So you can consider this as one of the even practice. You can even start your practice from scratch in this industries. So valuation is one of the areas which can be considered to be an area on account of Ind AS. One of the last one of the is you can start training for giving a training to a CA students, MBA finance, or even the accounting staff of your companies, CEOs, CFOs, business people, sales guys. All you need to have to be trained for this Ind AS, because they might go for a certain dealings. They may offer a huge discounting to the dealers and all, but they might not be what is the implication of that in the financial statement. Unless and until they have a basic idea about what their dealings will have impacts in financials, they will not be able to understand why we are pressurizing them not to go for a discount or what can be done or what cannot be done on this. So all in all, you need to make your way of spreading this information or training various stakeholders in this scenario, because it is not a small change, or it is not just the interpretation which is coming into, or just small guidance which has been issued by this institute or something. It is altogether different accounts which is going to come into place, and this will be required. And even the analyst or even the rating agencies or even what we can say brokerage houses, a financial institute which is coming out with the various research report, they will also have to hire a certain individuals which have expertise in the Ind AS. They will have expertise in IGAP, because the financials, the ratios will all goes for a different toss. If you have a sales with the incentive, this has to be netted off. Earlier in the IGAP we are showing that in that discounting or some or incentive as an expense. So this will affect your EBITDA, it may affect your OPM margin, or it may have a ROC. Your net worth is altogether going to be changed on account of treasury shares getting knocked off with the share capital. So all in all, there will be a lot of changes which going to happen. And as a accounting and a profession guys, we should be only we are the only pillar of them to guide them effectively and give them the options which are available to them. So with this, I would like to close, and I would like to further say one thing, that every adversity has an opportunity to end. So this is a change. This is maybe seen as an opportunity or can be seen as an adversity, but it's up to us to look forward it and can grab it into this. Thank you for.
Hello friends, my name is Kinjal Shah. I am a chartered accountant and a DIP IFRS, as sir mentioned, a topper. And I'm currently working at Larsen & Toubro Infotech Limited for 3.5 years as a part of the corporate accounts team. And I'm also responsible partly for the implementation, and as we all know that Ind AS and IFRS is the hot topic, and it has brought about a revolution in the not only the financial reporting but also in the entire business per se. So thank you, Sagar, for the insights on Ind AS and the opportunities. And I would directly like to jump into the career opportunities and why IFRS is the hot topic and the hot piece of cake in the profession. The first and the foremost question that comes is why IFRS should be chosen as a career prospect. And the answer to that is pretty simple. IFRS is a globally accepted and the most common standard which has been accepted worldwide. And this is for the very obvious reason that it brings about consistency, transparency, and ensures the quality in the business as well as the financial reporting. So more and more countries are adopting IFRS, and like we know that over 100 countries have already adopted. There are even more that are in line and which are going to either adopt the IFRS directly or are going to go for convergence with the IFRS. So that is going to bring about multiple opportunities in the field of IFRS. And also the global scenario has been changing of late, and there are multiple transactions of business combinations, mergers and acquisitions which are happening internationally. Which are cross-country, cross-nationality, and this is going to bring about even more complexities in the financial reporting, and unless we have a standard financial reporting framework, it's going to be very difficult. So this brings about one more reason why IFRS is going to be the chosen and the most important framework of the financial reporting standards. So it is very clear that IFRS is the only future ahead for the finance and accounting profession, and it is going to be even more common and more famous and more hot piece of cake in the days going forward. Having known the importance of IFRS and the importance and its importance, the second question that comes is that why IFRS professionals are needed. So having known the IFRS importance, IFRS professionals are obviously going to be the most needed and the most required professionals in the accounting area. And most of the countries, like we know, are in the evolutionary phase of IFRS, trying to adopt or going into transition in the IFRS. So there is a lack of the professionals who are experienced and having knowledge and practical expertise in this subject. So there is going to be even more need of the financial professionals in this area. The second reason is that the phase transition of IFRS and convergence is going to come with lots of complexities, and there are going to be a lot of challenges in this area. India, like we know, is already converging with IFRS, and we are aware of the challenges that are coming up for the corporates as well as the other companies. So this is going to even multiply, manifold the requirement of the professionals who are proficient with IFRS, who have expertise and knowledge on this subject. And this is going to definitely increase the needs of the IFRS professionals, and they are going to be like the top needed professionals in this area. Another reason is that IFRS is going to have ongoing amendments and changes because all the countries are in the evolutionary phase, and for day-to-day application of standards on certain issues, complexities, we are going to constantly need experts who can apply the standards and make sure that the companies and the financial reporting is in compliance with the standards to ensure there is maximum transparency and corporate governance. So that is why we know that the need for the IFRS professionals is going to be on top rated demand in the days coming forward, and we can already see that happening, and the surge has already started happening in
directly asking the questions, and
so
not
now that we know why IFRS
myself
is important and what is going to be the demand of IFRS professionals in the days coming forward,
Hello.
everybody would definitely want to know what are the
What I'm
current
thinking, I'll just
opportunities
introduce myself
available in
and probably
IFRS
let the
and
Purna
what
ask
all
me the question,
areas
because I
can be
think
covered.
Sagar and
So
Priya
the
have done
most
most of the things.
important and
So
the
it's gonna
most
be repeat. So probably let her answer
widespread
directly the
idea is
question.
that all the corporate firms, all the multinational companies, global companies are having their businesses across the globe, and financial reporting
Okay,
in
not
the
it.
national gaps is not possible anymore with the consolidation. So IFRS is going to be the selected standard and selected framework by all the companies, and that is why they are going to be needing those all the IFRS proficient and IFRS professionals for the consolidation as well as the daily day-to-day transactions reporting for the IFRS. Also, with the transitions and the conversions implementations happening across the globe, there's a huge demand to the advisory firms that they need IFRS professionals and they need experts having practical knowledge, theoretical knowledge, and application for giving their clients the best consultation advices so that they can go into seamless transition and seamlessly implement the IFRS with the best practices. Another most important area is the auditing firms. Like all the corporates are going for IFRS, even the auditors will need to be have their laces tied very tight, and they'll need best quality auditors who are aware of the IFRS standards, and they have to ensure that the financial statements are having a true and fair view, and they are in compliance with the standards, and there is maximum transparency, maximum corporate governance, and all the financial statements are reported at the mark. Another most important area, like Sagar already mentioned, is evaluations. The most important part of IFRS is introduction of the fair value accounting. And like Sir already mentioned, India is short of valuers that we all know. So valuation is going to up a huge opportunity for all the prospective chartered accountants and professionals in the area of IFRS. So that is going to be another new area. Also, there's going to be a new area opening up for cost accountants because IFRS is also bringing up the most basic change in the business as well. So like Sir mentioned, Ind AS 115 is going to bring about the importance of cost of sales and everything. So it's going to bring about a very deep need for all, even the cost accountants and company secretaries also for that matter, to bring about the best transparency in the area of IFRS. And all for the teaching enthusiasts, definitely all the chartered accountants and all the professionals who would like to go for IFRS, there is definitely a big need for IFRS proficient teachers to train the students and also provide certification courses, corporate trainings in implementation and other areas of IFRS. So as we know that it is not only going to affect the finance and accounting background, but it's going to have an overall impact on the entire business, and it's going to bring up new scopes and new prospects for career. Thank you.
Hi once again. I guess we have Gaurav Samota online.
I'd like to ask him just two brief questions. Is conversion to IFRS just a financial issue, as in it just affects the financial area, or how is it? And the other question is, other than the accountants, basically, how does it affect the other professions? Gaurav?
Hello, friends. Yeah, hello, friends across the globe for joining us. Myself is Gaurav Samuda. I am a just to brief about myself. Myself, Gaurav Samuda. I am a chartered accountant. I have cleared DIP IFRS in December 2014. And first of all, I would like to thank consult IFRS.com and especially Mr. Ram Mohan Bhave for providing me this global platform for interacting with all the big stalwarts of the finance industry and also the upcoming aspirants. And I would like to thank Mr. Sagar and Kinjal Shah, who has, I think, given probably more than required on this. What are the career opportunities in this field, IFRS and all that. So coming back to directly the question that Purna has asked, that whether it's IFRS is all about only a financial reporting issue. So I would say financial reporting is the first thing, but it's more than a financial reporting. It brings in the transparency, corporate governance issues. It will change the way the businesses are conducted. So any decision which because the first and most important thing what the financial statements why they are prepared is so that the investors who put their money they can take a informed decision. So when we talk about IFRS, which says about the fair value and fair value concept, transparency and all that, so that gives the users of the financial statement a clear picture what the transaction is all about. They know what is the in and outs. It's all about the substance or form. So they are quite clear about what the intentions, management, why they have entered into a contract. So it would give a clear picture to the investors and all the stakeholders who are associated with the company, giving them a right picture of what the transaction is all about and how the company is effectively managed, about their corporate governance, all that. So it's not about financial reporting. I will see it brings a structural change how the business is conducted in a true and a fair view, maximizing the shareholders' wealth and all that. So that's what I feel that's going to be a game changer for Indian companies, which I think post implementation of this Ind AS probably will see a change in the way they carry out their businesses, their disclosure standards and all that. And coming back to the Purna's second question, which says that is it only the accountants who are going to be benefited from this? So it's not that. It's accountant. They are the ground level ground workers who have to do the accounting. But apart from this, if you see, since it's a IFRS, it's based on this fair value concept. I see a lot of opportunities for experts like external experts like valuers. Say for example, IS 16, which says property, plant, and equipment, where you need to revalue your accounts. So there comes a picture of chartered engineers who are masters on asset valuation, say technicals and all that. Then comes the IFRS to share-based payment, where you need to value your shares on a fair value basis accounting. So there comes a picture in say the example of IFRS 3, which says the business combinations. So where you have to record all your assets and liabilities taken over at a fair value. So again there comes a picture of business valuation. So lot of scope for all the professionals ranging from accountants, chartered accountants, auditors, valuers, chartered engineers, technical persons. So there is a lot of opportunity I can see going forward next 5 years, since it's an implementation time for India. So next 5 years, I think this is the my personal experience since I'm practicing myself as a chartered accountant. So even I'm looking for a great thing since inception. Implementation would be a first thing. Even I'm looking for that because there were a lot more many companies will be falling under the ambit as defined by the MC and explained by my earlier friends Sagar and Kinjal Shah. So overall, I think it's a big structural change. What we are going to see revolution in the finance field. And lastly, to conclude, I would say IFRS. In short, I believe it's a international fastest road to success. What I can say for all the new upcoming aspirants. So that's all from my side. And once again, I would like to thank Mr. Ramon Bhave for providing me this opportunity to have a word with all the global audience listening to me. Thank you very much.